Good afternoon. Just doing my normal walk run with pack. I think about 8 kilo pack. Rolling hills around the old Disused golf course in North Lakes. Beautiful day, but this is just bread and butter stuff. Aerobic training with some weight involved as well. Not pushing the pace too much, just taking it nice and easy. So today we're talking about the aerobic system. As I said before, in the last really 5 systems we want to focus on while we're training. The first 2 are about making the distance. It's about how far you can go with your fitness. That is aerobic, which we'll talk about today. Next one is muscular endurance. Those 2 define how far you go, and they guarantee or help to guarantee a finish of a race. The other 3, which is technique, strength, and lactate tolerance or waste removal, they're the ones that will define how fast you can do the race. So today let's focus on aerobic. Aerobic system, it's about processing air or oxygen with fat to actually increase as a fuel supply. But the main thing about aerobic is around the cardiovascular system. What people don't understand, they think our cardiovascular, it's the heart pumps stuff to the muscle. All good, it needs to be healthy. It does so much more than that. The things it does is the heart pumps through the veins. Now the veins go to the gut to pick up carbohydrates, glycogen, processed food for your energy. It'll go to the liver to pick up ketones, which is the energy from fat, and then it'll send that through the body after digesting, which blood is involved with, and the cardiac system is involved in that. It sends those to the muscles, which the muscles have mitochondria, which convert that to energy. So absolutely fundamental that in good cardiovascular fitness supports your energy supply, which keeps you moving. But obviously it goes via the gut, so it's providing energy. It's also going to the lungs to collect oxygen to supply to your muscles. Oxygen is used as part of the energy system, so absolutely fundamental to going far. It also controls our thermodynamics. So when we start to heat up, or it's a really hot day, it sends blood to the surface of the skin to produce sweat. Sweat evaporates and cools us down. If it's cold, opposite effect. It actually makes sure that if it gets too cold, now it starts reducing our core temperature. It circulates blood, surface of the skin again, keeping us warm. Our core functions so they don't shut down. Obviously, there's the brain involved as well, which your aerobic system is supplying brain supply. Now, problem is, if you're not aerobically fit, and you get any sort of extreme temperatures, your core temperature goes up, your body needs to start making decisions as to where it's going to send the blood. It can't always send it to everywhere at the optimal. That's why you find when it's hot, your arms for your runs, etc., are going to be a lot slower. That is because it's taking the supply from your muscles, the blood supply in the muscles, and rerouting it to your skin to actually cool you. Same as you actually eat too much and you've got too much hanging around in your gut, the blood supply will send a lot of water and blood to the stomach, to the gut to break that down. Again, taking it away from the muscles or taking it away from the skin so you start overheating. And there's a whole balance. Now, what does training do? How can we train this? When we train the cardiovascular system, we've got to train within our aerobic levels, aerobic thresholds. If we train above it, it's not working on the cardiovascular system. It's ignoring and it doesn't develop. So we've got to train below. A good baseline is 180 minus your age, but that's just an initial guideline. Really, you want to be trained at an intensity that you can actually speak with somebody walking next to you, like I am. I could be jogging, but if you can have a conversation, you're probably within your aerobic levels. If you can breathe for long periods of time through your nose, you're probably aerobic. And in that way, your aerobic system will start developing. Now, what happens when it develops is, one, your heart muscle and your heart size will increase slightly. Your veins, your capillaries will actually grow. If you find, I always, when I see somebody who really can't handle the cold or cold water, you normally find that don't do a lot of aerobic training, or not aerobic fits, their capillaries are really small. So when you move into a cold environment, the cardiovascular system hasn't got the capacity to send enough blood to the surface of the skin to counteract it. That's not always the case, but quite often it is. So if you really can't take the cold, maybe it's because your cardiovascular system needs some development. So when we're trying to increase the heart condition, the amount of blood is pumping, it may increase the size of the heart to be able to pump more and be able to spread the load across those, the energy, the oxygen, the thermodynamics, muscles, and can actually spread the loads evenly no matter what conditions you are. So aerobic system absolutely fundamental for anything from 400 meters right up to ultra marathons, multi-day races, hikes. Aerobic system is going to be one of the greatest factors in terms of the ability to go far and to go at a reasonable pace and actually finish the race. 80% of your training should be aligned with your aerobic system. If you're constantly training above that, you're probably going to be limited in your races by your aerobic system rather than anything else that's going on. Your base speed, your muscular endurance, your strength. Your aerobic system is probably going to be the one that's holding you back. You'll probably overheat. You won't be able to supply. Your gut will shut down at some point in time if it's not getting supply. So many things can go wrong. Foundation, they call it base training. It is aerobic. It's zone 1, zone 2. Zone 2 is actually better than zone 1 because it's actually creating just enough pressure on the aerobic system to actually want to get better. If you do zone 1 all the time, is you're using your aerobic system, it's not creating sufficient stress to actually grow your aerobic system, if it makes sense. Look at your training plan. There's still this other 20% of training that we need to look at. And definitely, aerobic is not the answer to everything. Aerobic is a foundation. It's like having a sponge cake. It's the sponge in the cake. That cake is going to be pretty boring if you don't actually add, the icing and the cream and the decorations, etc. You have to do the other stuff, but 80% of it is that 80% of the sponge cake that actually makes it a full meal and wholesome. Aerobic is the piece that makes your training and your exercise. So next time we'll talk about the second limiter to people making the distance. That's muscular endurance. Muscular endurance, if it's not there, you're probably going to cramp, your muscles are going to break down, you're going to get injured, your muscles will shorten, and you'll battle to finish your race. So the next one, muscular endurance, then we'll move on to the other three, which make you go faster. But let's focus on getting to an end of event, and then we can add speed to it later. Hope that helps. See ya.